Australia have got Minicello at fullback, World Player of the Year, of course. Then they go King, Gasnier, Cooper and Tate. Barrett is alongside Gower. They're formidable. The forwards, Sivanasiva, Badiris and Riles. In the second row, it's O'Donnell, Fitzgibbon and Kennedy. And the substitutes, Wing, O'Mealy, Mason and Price. Let's just give you the forwards again. There they are, and here are the subs. Wing, Mason, O'Mealy and Price. The coach, of course, the one and only Wayne Bennett. Now the New Zealanders, Brent Webber at fullback, Webster, Fatuira, Tupi and Vatuvai. Vanganar comes back after suspension, and Stacey Jones is the scrum half. The forwards, Rahihi, who is Warrington bound, Motutoni of Hull, Ruben Wickie, the skipper, 50 not out, Kidwell, Louis Anderson and Shontaine Harpy of the Bradford Bulls, normally with Leslie Vinacolo outside him in the centres, and Harpy playing tonight at loose forward. And on the bench it's Fayumu, Asotazi, David Solomona of the Wakefield Trinity Wildcats and Leeds Rhinos Ali Lauatiti, and the coach is Brian McClennan. But Steve-O, tonight it's all about international pride.
Certainly is, and I am so pleased that the New Zealanders and the Australians have decided to take this Tri-Nations tournament down under next year. I can assure you that there's nothing better than international rugby league football, and it's one that every youngster will aspire to wear your national shirt and to look at the badge with that pride. It's the greatest carrot in our game.
Ruben Wickie will lead the haka for the New Zealanders as they face up the Kangaroos. Great round of applause from the stands, and it doesn't matter whether you ply your trade across the Tasman in Australia, whether you're in New Zealand itself, whether you're playing Super League here in Great Britain. The national pride of the New Zealanders there for all to see, and it's a truly international occasion because Steve Ganson, who was in charge of the very first Tri-Nations match in Sydney in October, is in charge of this one here at Elland Road tonight, as we bring the curtain down on a fantastic year of rugby league in this country in 2005. Okay, it's the Australians who will attack as we watch from right to left. Craig Fitzgibbon gets us underway. The final 80 minutes of this season, and I wonder who will come out on top at the end of this. Will the Australians go home with the victory yet again, or can New Zealand spring another surprise? It's fascinating. And it's terrific, Steve-O, to sit here totally, completely and utterly relaxed and just let the wonderful action unfold in front of us.
Well, at least, Eddie, for once you will not be biased one way. It's as simple as that. But I just hope that the people watching at home and also the players in Super League, you know, look at these two sides, the skill factor. Great Britain coach Brian Noble made it quite clear last week that we still had a long way to go to reach the skill factors. Fitness, yes, we're okay. Upper body strength, yes, we're okay. But we need that skill factor bringing back into our game.
Talking of skill, the kick downfield well fielded by Brent Tate, but a great chase on him by Manu Vatuvai, the youngest player on the pitch, the number 5 in the black and white of New Zealand tonight. International newcomer of the year at the award ceremony earlier this week. But here now is Craig Gower, and they're moving the ball across this line, and now it's the winger Matt King, and Matt King is bundled to the ground by 2 tacklers.
That just shows you, Eddie, the confidence and the skill that this Australian side have. It went 5 passes directly underneath your post. In Millwood, it's very few teams will do that early in a game.
Yeah, but it's all about reaction, what's in front of you. You know, in this tournament so far, Steve-O, games have averaged over 50 points a game, and over 9 tries a game have been averaged. So we're into some fun here tonight, I think.
Gower's kick. It was well fielded, but that's the first penalty. I think Trent Barrett has been pinged by Mr. Ganson for coming in on the flop.
Well, that was good work. Vatavai certainly put himself in a good position, but the quality of Craig Gower, a little chip over the top, something different yet again.
And of course, Trent Barrett, as the caption said there, sin-binned by Mr. Ganson twice last week in the international against Great Britain at Hull. He said this week he doesn't think he's ever been sin-binned twice before in his 10-year career, never mind twice in 80 minutes. But that's what he got from Mr. Ganson last week, and he's just conceded the first penalty. And this is the skipper, Ruben Wiki, right on the halfway line. Motu Tony of the Hull club, and he is dropped by Jason Riles, and he now is the full-back, Brent Webb.
He's a key character on this New Zealand attacking line at the full-back. He's been in outstanding form.
The second rower there is Louis Anderson, and he's got heavy strapping on the left knee, as you can see, and he plays the ball. Here is Stacey Jones. Here's the kick, high, and they're chasing this. Oh, and it's bounced, and it could be a try here for the centre. Fatuira. The referee, Steve Ganson, will check it all out via the video referee, Dave Campbell. And the winger, Matt King, is saying about obstruction in the back play. And Mr. Ganson had a little nod at him, but what a kick from Stacey Jones.
Perfect height. Onside, no problems with that at all. See there, just pushed out of the way. The try scorer, that's a try. No doubt about it in my mind, that will be brought up. It was certainly hit by the Australian first, so therefore it's play on.
But is there a knock-on by the Kiwi, Steve-O, there?
Well, it was going, the ball's been projected backwards. It seemed to go backwards as far as I'm concerned. No doubt about the grounding.
Fatuira definitely got a hand to it, there's no question of that.
I think this will be given. They put Matt King under a lot of pressure.
Jake Webster doing really well in the air.
I think they'll give this. This will be a real shock. But what about the kick? Plenty of height. Gave the chance for the winger. There is confirmation.
Try is given to Paul Fatuira, the lucky omen in the NRL. Grand final wins with 3 unfashionable clubs in the last 3 years. Can he now do it at international level? Well, he's got the Kiwis off to a fantastic start.
And it came from Stacey Jones. Okay, jet lag or not, he will do the kicking all night. Not the best work from Matt Cooper. He tried to put the Kiwis off. He runs right across. He really should have been far better just coming back and trying to help the winger. Didn't work out. The centre said, I love it. Fatuira, what a start. That'll settle the nerves, but will it poke the Australians well and truly in the eye?
Well, maybe, but Stacey Jones, who produced the effort with the kick, now has the chance to add the extras, and this would be a fantastic effort. Oh, but he's missed it. He's pulled it in front of the posts. Well, Fatuira, who has got 2 successful grand finals in the last 3 years with West Tigers and Penrith in 2003. West Tigers this year, of course. He's come up with the first try of this Tri-Nations final. And New Zealand are ahead by 4 points to 0. John Keir, what a start.
Sensational start, Eddie, and the skill level of Stacey Jones there was there for all to see. He isolated the wingman Matt King, so he couldn't get a jump, and what a great contest by Jake Webster, who went for the ball. He caused the mistake, and as you say, Fatuira was on hand. Great start for the New Zealanders, very simple, emphasis on the forwards and runs from dummy half and getting to a good kick. Great start.
Great start indeed, and emphasis on the kick as well from Stacey Jones. That, Steve-O, is why they've flown him halfway around the world twice in the past 7 days to play.
Without a doubt, and he's only got to just get there in that first receiver position.
There he is again.
He'll just guide him around the park, and it's a good kick. Bit too strong.
It is, and Anthony Minicello was content to allow the ball to run dead in goal. Brian McClennan, what a job this fellow has done. Of course, the son of Mike McClennan, who was in charge at St Helens in this country.
Well, the feeling is, Eddie, that amongst the camp that Brian McClennan has actually brought back the best team spirit that's been seen with the black and whites for several years. They really are a tight-knit unit.
And people like Benji Marshall not here, Sonny Bill Williams not here, but they've played their part in this tournament, and they are playing this part in this final. But that's a great offload. And here is Minicello again, hauled down in the end by Ruben Wiki and Stacey Jones.
With the Kiwis holding up 4-0 lead, what they'll try to do, as you say, they'll play pretty keen. Oh, was that obstruction?
Wonderful hands here, and this is Cooper, and he gets down the line and finds Matt King, but there are three there, and he's forced into touch by wonderful New Zealand defence. They're up for this, the Kiwis.
Are they ever? And that just shows you, doesn't it, the tension that's going in. They came as team spirit. Junk here.
What defence, Steve? Well, there's 5 men in the tackle there. 5 New Zealanders got across, half a bus there by the Aussies, but then 5 across there, just covering for Van Ganaar's mistake. He misread the defensive line earlier on, but his teammates covered for that mistake. Sensational work.
Fantastic work indeed by New Zealand, who have started the game better maybe than even they could have hoped for. This is Manu Vatuvei. They call him Baby Jonah, but he hates the nicknames down under. Of course, reference to the great Jonah Lomu of the other code. He says he just wants to be known as Manu Vatuvei, and he's the youngest player on the pitch, as I say, and the newcomer of the year. Got a big future ahead of him. That ball, well, how did that find its way to Motu Tony?
By the way, these are good tactics by the Kiwis, just running from dummy half, trying to see there, trying to milk a penalty, and Jones will just guide them around yet again.
Another
That's
good
a great kick.
It is a great kick, but again, it just runs touch and goal this time. But it was asking the questions all the time of Matt King, wasn't it? Wayne Bennett's been there, seen it, done it, got the T-shirt. He's seen all this before. And here they come now, the Australians, in the shape of Luke O'Donnell, who made his international debut in this tournament this year. It's now with Trent Barrett. Good feet from Barrett, but good defence again from David Kidwell to claw him to the ground. Badiris to Craig Gower. Flick pass to Fitzgibbon. He's hammered to the ground, though, on the halfway line. Badiris, the Australian captain this evening. He was hooker in last year's grand final as well. This has got to be Danny Badiris' career highlight, I'm sure. There he is, number 9 in green and gold. Dummy half, and he takes the play the ball from Ben Kennedy, and the kick from Trent Barrett, and that is going to run too deep as well.
Well, he tried the backspring on it, but it didn't work. You say Wayne Bennett, one of the men who really wanted this Tri-Nations to get off the ground last year. It's been a wonderful success.
This is Louis Anderson, wanted by Gaznia.
The mere fact, Eddie, that I'm looking forward to it going down under next season.
4-0, the New Zealanders lead. Only 3 Australians, by the way, who started last year's Tri-Nations final in this starting lineup for the Kangaroos tonight. Here is Paul Rahihi, who's on his way to the Warrington Wolves. The 4th tackle, though, in this set of 6 for New Zealand. 9 minutes gone. The Kiwis ahead by 4 points to 0, and a drive forward by the loose forward, Shontaine Harpy. Plays the ball to Motu Tony. Here's Stacey Jones again. Tactics are obvious, aren't they? Kicks out wide, looking to test the winger Matt King. But on that occasion, Jake Webster couldn't stop the ball from sailing out on the full. Ball brought back to where the kick was taken.
Well, this is a dummy, the step over. The Kiwis have brought that back into the game. Last time I saw that was way back in the 60s. So
I wonder how many Super League coaches might be employing that tactic here in Millwood in the new season.
Well, that was used back in the days when Steve-O was used, and we always regurgitate things in rugby league. Don't worry, we don't invent everything. They get regurgitated and we put a bit of spice. Interesting you talk about tactics here, Eddie. At the moment, New Zealand showed their hand. They want to be to and through in the forwards, earn the right, and come up with an aggressive kicking game and make sure that they're coming off their line, Australia. You talk about being aggressive in defence, Eddie. That's the way to do it, make teams come off their line. That's what New Zealand are trying to do.
Great hands, though, on show again from the Australians, but wonderful defence once more. And Jake Webster, great hit on Fitzgibbon. There was 3 men on the overlap down the left-hand channel. Gower to Petro Sivanasiva. He gets the ball away to Badiris, and here now is Ben Kennedy. He's seen a little gap, but well pulled down again by Shontaine Harpy. And here is Badiris. On his inside is Kennedy. And it finds its way untidily into the arms of Trent Barrett. Barrett going for the kick out wide. And it drops easily into the arms of Brent Tate. And Tate looking to go on his own. And they're trying to force him into touch again. And they do! This time 1, 2, 3, 4 black and white jerseys were there. Again,
wonderful defence by the Kiwis, but I must say that the Australians keeping this ball alive, turning in the tackle. Here we see the team pushing them over back. They are really working this Kiwi defence, and that is going to tell its tale late in this game.
And the key there is, Steve, is to work their forwards over, because they're going to rely on heavily their go forward on there. And the other things Australians will be happy about there is they've given the New Zealanders the ball back on their line for the first time in their game. Okay, they come up with an error, but they're starting off their line, and that's where they can be aggressive now.
And the Australians looking to be aggressive in the tackle, and Clinton Tupy was the receiver of that one. This now is David Kidwell. David Kidwell, sub in the 1999 Tri-Nations final. Spent a couple of years at Warrington in Super League in the early part of this century. Now it is with Fatuira, the try-scorer, that has given the New Zealanders the lead by 4 points to 0. We're 11.5 minutes into this Tri-Nations final. Rahihi, good hands to Kidwell. And Badiris coming in a little bit late perhaps on Kidwell, just having a push and shove at each other. Here is Stacey Jones again. There's the booming kick downfield, but inevitably it's Anthony Minichiello who deals with that, and he will launch the Australian counter-attack, he hopes, but a great chase.
Good positioning there by Minichiello. Voted last Monday as the best player in the world. The Golden Boot Award. Fully deserved it. In an absolute superb form.
And the winger, Matt King, taking a bit of punishment there, and Badiris, and he just slipped as he came to greet Motu Tony. Took a bit of a belt for his trouble. This now is Barrett, and Barrett flicks the ball back. It's picked up out of the air by Gower, and Gower just dropped the shoulder. Little half break again. Important tackle round the legs that was, and unfairly Ruben Wiki had another pull at Craig Gower's legs.
Sheer desperation there from Ruben Wiki. Again, the Australians are half breaking through this New Zealand defence. Little doubt about it, just wouldn't release him. Gower wanted to get on with the job, but they are hanging back a little bit of the Kiwis, and that can only spell danger.
First penalty to Australia. It's here now with Gower, and this is Jason Riles. Motu Tony in, the first man. Again, there are 3 and 4 black and white jerseys hunting the man in possession with the football in the green and gold. And it's Badiris at dummy half. He gets it away to Trent Barrett, who goes up the middle. Kidwell was low down. Ruben Wiki over the top. Badiris could easily have got the penalty, but they managed to keep the ball alive. Bounces one way, then the other.
Should be back to 6. Oh, knock on both ways. Interesting to see who'll be
New Zealand's head and feed.
It looked to me as though it was Fatuira that got the hand to it.
You mentioned, Steve-O, about their waiting in defence there, New Zealand. It all stemmed from the play of the ball. They're winning the ruck, Australia, and their markers can't get set. And that's why they're jumping from dummy half, because they know the markers aren't set and they can beat them easy. And that's why the defensive line can't get set. If that continues, get in your Australian colours.
Spoken like a true blue kangaroo. Mr. Millwood, you nailed your colours to the... Well, all right, green and gold, I know. But you nailed your colours very early in the piece this tournament to the green and gold mast, Ian.
Eddie, I looked up the word of what a galaxy of stars means, and it means Europa.
Silence is golden. 14 minutes gone. New Zealand ahead by 4 points to 0. Ruben Wiki, though, for New Zealand. So important that he stays on the field for a long time on his 50th Test appearance.
It's important as well that New Zealand get a good kick away. The last 2 have been quite poor, right down the throat of Minichiello.
Here's Stacey Jones. They put pressure on him, and there's the kick that, well, it actually bounces in the field of play from the fullback Brent Webb, but it was not the tidiest kick, although it does the job.
Good pressure, though, by the Australian defence. Started to pick out Stacey Jones early. He had to offload.
Brent Webb, a try in the win against France in Toulouse last week, and 2 tries, of course, against Great Britain at Loftus Road. It's good to see that the British crowd, by the way, has come out to support the concept of the Tri-Nations. Over 25,000 tickets sold earlier this week, and it looks as though we're going to be a little bit over the 25,000 mark here tonight, which is terrific news for the international game. They go wide, Australia again, good hands. It finds its way into the arms of Gasnier. This fellow is the best centre in the world, no doubt about that. And here they come again, Australia, in the shape of Craig Gower. He gets it to Ben Kennedy, and the New Zealanders scrambling in defence. Stacey Jones tying the ball up as Motu Tony made the tackle. Badiris gets it away to Luke O'Donnell.
Interesting to see how the Australians are interchanging on that occasion. We saw that the winger had come into the centre position, pushed Gasnier out onto the touchline.
Gower, back it comes to Minicello. That's good defence though again from New Zealand. Great flying tackle by Nigel Vangenaar. This now is Trent Barrett, and he'll hoist the kick out wide. Oh, he was taken a bit late there, wasn't he? Ball is bouncing around all over the shop, and the ball is stabbed through, and they're looking for Badiris. They're going to get an extra set of 6 here. So I tell you what, Trent Barrett is still groggy in back play.
Just 1 second, I want to have a look at something there.
Interesting to see whether he was really taken out illegally.
With Trent Barrett?
Certainly appeared late. Left elbow.
It's Rahihi.
Well, he lined him up.
No touch judge report.
Oh, that really. I mean, he didn't hit him in the face, to be fair, but it was definitely an elbow into the chest.
Okay.
Well, Steve Ganson's asking the video referee about the incident. There's no advantage for Australia here because they're already going to receive the ball from the dropout. But would it be a problem if they did put him in the bin? But I don't think that's going to happen. I think he's going to call him out for a caution, but.
Well, if he gives a penalty, Ian, where the incident happened, that will be a benefit to Australia.
It will be, Eddie, but Australia will not go for the 2 because at the moment they're making plenty of yardage coming out of their half, and they just want a couple of back-to-back sets in the opposition half because their second phase plays very well. They're beating the first defender. It's their scrambling defence at the moment, New Zealand, that's keeping them in the game. Any possession Australia get will cause problems.
Paul Rahihi got out of the way quickly then.
Okay.
And he's come off the field and has been interchanged.
Yeah.
But Mr. Ganson wanted a word with him.
That's smart, coach.
Brian McClennan got him off the field.
That is a smart coach.
Okay.
Having substituted.
It's the goal line dropout then for New Zealand. Australia will get the ball back here, but they get it back on halfway.
Play on.
And Craig Gower has it for Australia. Gives it then to Jason Riles.
First.
Full credit to the New Zealand defence as well. At times they're very slow. You see some are moving up, others aren't. And that's always going to be a danger, but they are scrambling back. Australia getting the half break, just haven't made that clean one as yet.
This is Craig Fitzgibbon. Yes, testament to the Kiwi defence that they haven't got through. It's Badiris and Gower on the angle, and the pass into the arms of Luke O'Donnell, but good defence again. Asatazi in there, the man who's come on for Paul Rahihi. Here is Trent Barrett, and now it's with Riles, and they managed to hold him up again. Gower will spin it this way. Oh, interception! Away goes David Kidwell! David Kidwell with all the kangaroos after him. Oh, and he's hammered behind the winger Brent Tate.
Tate says, come here. Well, Kidwell wonders what on earth, and that's a penalty. It's got it out. They're throwing it. Oh, someone's been king hit from the back as well. Well, we expected it might be a bit tasty, but we thought that would occur in the opening minutes. It's taken 17 3/4 minutes for it to explode. Just sheer frustration. Threw the ball at him, and then it was on, but someone got king hit in the back play. Kidwell, I'm not so sure he was onside. This is the incident where Tate's is banged.
What have we got, boys?
And Luke O'Donnell went into him. They threw the ball away. And then it was on. Right, straight into it. Bang. But someone came right from the left-hand side. And I think Luke O'Donnell copped a beauty.
Well, Mr. Ganson has taken
that's been checked.
reports from both touch
you two,
judges.
The captains sorted out. Original penalties New Zealand for the interference after the break. Get on with it, sort your teams out. Yeah, we checked it up there, there's no problem. No, it's not.
Well, the Australians believe that Kidwell was a mile offside to play the ball, but they didn't go back for that. They just looked at the
That's
fight.
what I was asking you about.
They did not go back for that.
For a bloke who sent Adrian Morley off in the first couple of seconds of a test, I think it was great he kept them all on the field. Didn't put a bloke in the bin.
Well, it's a lot of people say it's not a match unless there's a bit of fisticuffs, and it certainly is a test match now. Here is Ruben Wiki.
Well, you normally see handbags at 10 paces, but
Great offload.
there was a few making the mark. This will play into the Kiwis' hands now.
Stacey Jones, and he finds the fullback, and here is Wiki. Good ball from Webb, and he's just held up short is Ruben Wiki. David Kidwell, whose break provided this opportunity for the Kiwis, and that is Webb. Oh, it's so close. They're appealing that this is a try, but he's held up short. Well, it looked like he was over the line then, the fullback Brent Webb. Back it comes to Stacey Jones again, and then wide they go, and they must be in. They are in on that far side, and it is the winger Manu Vatuvei. Manu Vatuvei doubles the New Zealand lead. Well, as you say, all the nonsense that went on in centre field would play into the Kiwis' hands. And it certainly has. They've come up with the second try. 8-0, New Zealand.
It certainly did. They lost to the composure. Now there you see, he had his foot behind, so therefore he's onside. Doesn't necessarily have to have both feet. This is great finish. Great finish in there, and Brent Tate, for some unknown reason, hesitates out wide. What's this? Tate, he really should have gone early, and Vatuvei has all the strength to finish it off. Simple dummy run, and what a finish.
Great ball
boy.
wide too from Clinton Tupi to Manu Vatuvei. The 19-year-old comes up with his third try for New Zealand. The second try on the night, and New Zealand have an 8-0 advantage. And Stacey Jones is a little concerned with the pitch markers over on that far side. He's already taken the flag out that marks the 20-metre line, and now he's just kicked the pad that says 20, just to get his run up right for this. Missed with his first conversion attempt from the other side, but that's the angle he has this time here at Elland Road tonight. And this for a sensational 10-0 lead, but he's pulled it the wrong side of the post. But Australia 0, New Zealand 8 in the Tri-Nations final.
Well, the Aussies just lost their composure, especially the winger Tate there. He's undecided, he doesn't know which way to go, and when it happens, it's too late. He should have been right in front of him quicker than that. He looks calm, doesn't he, Brian McClennan, but he knows 2 tries against the Aussies. What a dream start, and fully deserved. You've got to take your opportunity. But can the Australians regain that composure? Little doubt in my mind that little bit of fracas has helped the Kiwis.
I think, Steve, you have to take your hat off to the wingman Vatuvei there as well. We can criticise Tate, but let's applaud Vatuvei because his body positioning as he went for the line, it was very low, it was driving in, it was very determined, and that's a great try. And we felt the Kiwis' dam was going to burst with the Australians exerting the pressure, but they get to the other end of the field and they come away with the 4.
Well, if Australia are to win the Tri-Nations in 2005, it'll be a direct contrast to what happened here 12 months ago, when at half-time they led Great Britain by 38 points to 0. Now they are 8-0 down, and Stacey Jones is conducting the orchestra, and that's a fantastic high kick.
What a take, though, under a lot of pressure. That's one of the reasons why this guy has been voted the best in the world. It was a beautiful kick again from Stacey Jones.
But it's a great tactic, Steve, isn't it, as well? You know that Minicello's such a great returner of the ball, so give a high ball, and then all your defensive line can get there to take him as he receives it, and you've eliminated him from that tackle.
Knock on by Ben Kennedy, and I noticed that 1 or 2 of these Australians are looking and questioning Mr. Ganson.
You can't blame the referee for that. Ben Kennedy wanted to get on with the game. Play the ball, you've got to regain your position and then place the ball. He did it absolutely in reverse, and that's the reason why he lost it.
in the tackle before, though, Steve-O, and the errors, they've made 4 to New Zealand's 0, as you've just seen crawling through the top of your screen. In the tackle before, there was a bit of a complaint to Mr. Ganson from the Australian. This is Tupi again.
Well, they've got to forget about the guy with the whistle. They've got to make sure that their defence is pretty solid.
I think the green and golds are rattled here, you know.
Oh, without a doubt.
And this is Louis Anderson. And that's an important tackle by Ben Kennedy. And there is David Fayumu, who's just on. He gets it away to Kidwell. And Kidwell with nowhere to go. Absolutely bottled up then by the Australian defence. Craig Fitzgibbon making the tackle. Fayumu again. It's now is Stacey Jones. And he flicks it back to Shontaine Harpy.
Oh, a high shot there.
And Harpy through. And if he could have got the ball away to Brent Webb, he was over under the sticks. 4 tackles gone. Fayumu again, going on his own. Fayumu bang underneath the Australian post now. And Brent Webb is the dummy half. Back it comes to Stacey Jones. The kick out wide. It's worked for them so often. It could work again. It has worked again.
He's got it.
Manu Vatuvei with the try. He'll just have to check for the offside, will he? Having a long talk with the touch judge. Not given
Just have a
yet.
look what happened there, mate. Judge Hughes feels the Australian player made Carter.
Dancing all the way around the area. He thinks he's scored
Just
here.
checking if he can't.
So do I. Again, a beautifully weighted kick from the little halfback Stacey Jones, creating all sorts of trouble for the green and golds. He went very early, didn't he? Very early indeed, Tate. And he gets it stolen. It's a smash and grab. And he's got the 4, no doubt about that. This will come up as a TRY. Most of the British in this stadium tonight, they said they wanted to cheer on the Kiwis. Well, they're having plenty to cheer about. This is a great take. It's a steal. And it's the 3rd try for the black and whites.
Vatuvei has just picked the pocket of Brent Tate. And this will be a try to New Zealand. And they lead by 12 points to 0. And I know we've talked about the work that they're having to do in defence, but Wayne Bennett will know that the longer this goes on, the greater the confidence will grow for the men in the black and white.
Superb high kick yet again. This is the reason why they brought him from down under. Barely celebrating about the new birth. And he was on the plane. His wife said, yes, you can go. It's so important to you. And he's done it again. Kick into the right corner, produced a try. Now they've kicked into the left corner and done exactly the same thing.
And Manu Vatuvei with his 2nd try. The New Zealand warrior. And there's a bit of a conflab going on behind the Australian line as Stacey Jones lines up this kick. Now, is it 3rd time lucky? No. 3 tries, 12 points, no conversions, 12-0. It's still in Australia's hands, but, as I say, the confidence will be growing in the New Zealanders, Ian.
I think if you talk about New Zealand wanted before the game, they didn't want a fast tempo and they wanted field position. They've got both. If you look at their bench at the moment, Ali Lelati, Dave Solomona, outstanding forwards, have not entered the field of play because the tempo hasn't been at the speed where he's had to make instant replacements. And that's the key for Australia. Cut out the errors, maintain field position and get Jones away from your line from these attacking kicks.
I think we saw very early as well, Sivanasiva went very high, trying to take someone's head off, instead of doing his job out there and doing the defence. You cannot carry anybody in international football.
Ruben Wiki again. 27 minutes without a breather for the New Zealand captain. When he leaves the field, they do tend to lose their way a little bit. Asatazi, well, it's all coming off for them. He got the ball away. Stacey Jones got it wide to Anderson, and Anderson got it to Clinton Tupi. And the Australians are having a devil's own job in getting into this Tri-Nations final. Look at that, 5 breaks to 1 for New Zealand. And this is Kidwell now, and Stephen Price gets it.
Well, surprisingly as well, the Kiwis are finding those gaps in and around the play the ball area.
Brilliant from Stacey Jones, gets the ball infield to Vanganar. Vanganar clips it down the line, and Minicello just tidies up the danger. But it will be a goal line dropout for Australia, and more pressure, a repeat set of 6 for the Kiwis.
Super stuff. Little step, then the dink into the corner. Look at the chase there. Vinicello couldn't take any chances. And they get the repeat. They are stunned.
Well, I think the Aussies are stunned, Steve, but I think we must applaud how well that New Zealand are playing. Tactically, they're getting things exactly right, and it's obvious that Wayne Bennett has sensed that there's a problem because he's brought both props off Riles and Sivan and interchanged them straight away. So there tells you where Wayne Bennett feels that the game's being lost at this moment in time.
Drive forward here by Roy Asatazi, who was in the side beaten by the Leeds Rhinos here in February in the World Club Challenge. Now it's with Wiki. Oh, an offload again and flick back. That was Harpy, and they have the men on the overlap wide here. Tupe. Oh, Vatavai puts the ball down. That was a hat-trick begging, and that could have been the Tri-Nations final.
I think you're right as well. Back on the inside, good positioning, and again we could see that Australia, they're having a lot of trouble down their right-hand side in defence. Good work by the Kiwis. They are spotting that. They're working well onto the left-hand side.
Steve, I think one of the problems, not in that instance, but young Tate, what he's having a problem with Vatavai, when it gets down to man-on-man, he's backpedaling. He has to go forward at him, and he's buying time and backpedaling. He's making Gaznia feel very uncomfortable. When it's man-on-man, go at him.
Well, these pictures being beamed live and this commentary live in Australia and New Zealand, people waking up down under to this Tri-Nations final, and do not adjust your sets. In Australia, it is a 12-0 lead that the Kiwis have, and they have full value for this. 3 tries they have scored. The 2 by Manu Vatavai. He got the second and third, and Paul Fatuira got things going. It's 12-0 to New Zealand, and Gower trying to do something about it for Australia. And here now is Marco Mile. And a penalty for hands in at the ruck against David Kidwell.
Silly play by the second rower. It's given Australia the field position that they've been wanting for quite some time. And I think that Wayne Bennett has got the message out and said, listen, we may have a great three-quarter line, but we've got to have our forwards getting over the advantage a bit. Let's roll our sleeves up and get our shirts dirty.
That's Mark O'Mealy again. Gets to his feet, plays the ball to Badiris. And Badiris attacking the line, flicks it back to Trent Barrett. Little half break and an important tackle low down again by David Fayumu. And it's with Craig Gower, and he manages to get the ball backwards, but it's gobbled up by the New Zealanders on the floor. That was good work by Brent Webb.
Well,
They're not at the races, the Aussies.
If you want to measure enthusiasm, Eddie, it's little things like that. When there's a loose ball on the ground, who's going to react the first? Who's the sharpest to it? And it's been the New Zealanders all night there. Great work by Brent Webb, and that's consequently they've got the penalty from there.
They've got a penalty for offside. They might have had a penalty also for a high shot by Ben Kennedy on Jake Webster.
Didn't miss him either. Again, the frustration. And again, the field position is being given away. They'll be kicking all night with the Kiwis. They know they've got that 12-point lead now. But how embarrassing would it have been if all 3 conversions would have gone over?
Indeed so. It's Rahihi who has returned to the fray. Wayne Bennett looking for the combination that will turn this match Australia's way as he makes the changes. And Asatazi will play the ball. Here is Stacey Jones. Back it goes to Brent Webb. Oh, that looked a touch forward. The referee agrees.
Yeah, just delayed it a little bit too long. Nice move, though. You see on the different angle, definitely Webb just held it up. Clinton Tupi just a bit in front, but they really are working down that right-hand side, and they're doing the dummy runner coming and then another one coming round on the angle.
Well, Clinton Tupi is one of the leading try scorers in this Tri-Nation series, and he runs very straight, direct lines. He doesn't run to a sideline. The other thing I'll pose you too, Steve, wouldn't it be embarrassing for Australia if it was 12-6 at half-time, because New Zealand have completely dominated the first 30 minutes.
You mentioned Clinton Tupi, and he's the only Kiwi ever to get 2 hat-tricks against Australia, including one in Sydney last month. He got one in 2003 in Auckland as well. 12-0, the Kiwis lead. 7 and a bit minutes to the half-time siren. What a first half it's been for New Zealand.
Well, I think the Australians are a little bit surprised as well. Remember, there was about 15 minutes where Australia were making the half break, and they're making the errors, they're offloading there in heavy traffic, and it's not paying off for them.
And they have another penalty here, New Zealand.
You lost the tackle and
But I
used
think
him
they'll
to
shove
spin
this
round
right
to
into
the
the
front.
corner.
Gotta get out
I
the
don't think
side.
they'll bother with the two so far out.
Matt Cooper penalised
Well, there's
for
one thing.
twisting and turning the player on the ground.
Not only that, Eddie, is that the Australians are eager to keep it alive. We mentioned that in the opening minutes when they had 5 passes underneath their own post. Trouble is, it's just not coming off for them.
Rahihi drives the ball in. They're 10 metres away from the Australian line.
Go.
And that's Faumu again. And here now is Stacey Jones. Pops the ball back. It's Asatasi. Roy Asatasi driving it in. And Australia having the devil's own job to keep them out. It's with Faumu again. Here is Stacey Jones. It'll be a fairy tale if Stacey Jones gets over for a try in this match. Brent Webb, the dummy half. Back it comes to Nigel Vanganaan. He drives it in straight again. And the substitute, Craig Wing, is there first with Willie Mason to bring him down. And another penalty for hands in the ruck.
They'll take the two here. No doubt about
I'm
that.
telling you.
Yep. Confirmation
Mason
from
and incredible
the
ball.
coach. Well, Brian McClennan must be pinching himself. That
What, mate?
that Australia are making so many errors, but let's take nothing away from the Kiwis because the errors are coming, because the aggressive defence, they're coming in numbers.
They are, because they've got field position and the kicking game from Stacey Jones is outstanding. But this is not something new to him, but also, remember, Stevo, in Australia, only what we were talking about 5 or 6 weeks ago, they won at the Telstra Stadium, and then they went back to their homeland and were only beaten by 2 points. So, you know, they're not in foreign territory. It's a key how they maintain it now.
Stacey Jones maybe is the key. Just how much will the effects of the long flight home and then back for the birth of his son, how much will that take out of him tonight? And that's his first successful kick of the evening. But importantly, it stretches the advantage still further. It's New Zealand 14, Australia 0. And Wayne Bennett, well, he has to do some work, doesn't he?
It certainly does. John Keir, I pose the question. What a dream start for McClennan. What sort of speech will he make at half-time?
Well, he'll just tell his New Zealand troops to continue doing what they've been doing so very, very well indeed, i.e. getting out of dummy half. All the 3 quarters have done quite a bit of scooting out of dummy half, hitting the big forwards who are punching holes in around the ruck area, and then Stacey Jones finishing the set off with a great kick and chase. And that will be the speech. Keep doing what we've been doing so well.
And importantly, with less than 5 minutes to go to half-time, they still have to bring the ball handlers like David Solomon and Ali Lauatiti off the bench, New Zealand.
Well,
that is a very, very important weapon for them here tonight.
And that's what we knew, that they would do that. And they'll throw them out wide.
It's another penalty. Well, Mr. Ganson's caning the Aussies.
Ball stripped out. Look at the manner it came
And,
out.
well, there's the fellow who destroyed Great Britain in the first half last year, Darren Lockyer. This is uncharted territory in terms of Tri-Nations. At Elland Road, anyway.
Well, I don't think Mr. Ganson's being harsh on the Australians. He's just refereeing the game.
Yep.
If he reads the ball out, he reads the ball out, and it's a penalty.
6-2 to New Zealand on the penalty count. 14-0 where it matters on the scoreboard. You're absolutely right, John. He's refereeing the rules, and there's nothing wrong in that.
Go.
And here now at the Kiwis again with Asatasi.
What is wrong, there are a lot of the Australians, especially the forwards, they're just having a big chat to the official.
There's another one, and the referee now will call the captain, and he will take action eventually here.
Captain, please. Captain.
There's a lot of messing around going on at the play of the ball. And
Yep.
it's unfamiliar, it's unusual that the Australians are the ones
Craig,
who are
it's
slowing
delaying
it down.
tactics when they're on a roll. You've men in the tackle, but they're just lying there. Steve Price was on forever then. You've got to get him off. I've give you, there's been stripping, there's
Not
holding
surprisingly.
down. Okay, well, it's been both ways. Okay, well, let's sort it out and give him the opportunity. Okay, mate?
Well, he's asked for both
What are you
ways,
doing,
says Craig
mate?
Gower. But they're going to take the 2 points on offer here. New Zealand.
And they've got to. And doesn't that bench look a little bit sick at the moment? Now, when you cast your mind back to last year in the Tri-Nations, New Zealand were finding themselves in a good position, and they seemed to capitulate in the second half. I really don't think that the Australians can have that mindset and go in and say, oh, well, you know, they will fall apart. Because I don't think they will. I think they'll fight all the way through into the second stanza.
Well, Stacey Jones, normally he will eat these for breakfast. New Zealand Warriors, Le Catalan next year in the Super League. And how important will he be to the French challenge that will be coming into the British competition in 2006? I think he will have a mighty influence on the affair in the south of France. And we will be seeing Le Catalan against Ian Millwood's Wigan on Saturday, February the 11th here, live on Sky Sports. The opening weekend of the Super League. Castleford against John Keir's Hull the evening before. That's all to come in 2006. February the 10th, February the 11th, the opening weekend of the Super League on Sky Sports. The week before, it is the World Club Challenge at the Galfarm Stadium, Huddersfield. The champions of the UK, Bradford Bulls against West Tigers. It's a Friday, February the 3rd at 7:30. We shall be live for all of that, of course.
Hold. Go.
Again, the New Zealanders quite happy to trundle it through with the big forwards. They know they've got the man, Stacey Jones, who can do the kick. And again, good running from dummy half.
Oh, everything sticking for New Zealand. And this is Stacey Jones again. And there's the kick to the corner. And it's an invitation for Fatuira. Oh, the ball just beats him. Wow, well, if that would have been a try, I think the Australians could have all gone home.
Great work. But ability, and that just shows you the confidence, doesn't it? They couldn't get to him. Stacey Jones stumbled and was allowed to get to his feet and get the kick away.
I think the big one there, Steve, was how well he read the game, though, because he hit the floor and almost immediately, as soon as he regained his feet, he weighed up the options, he looked at how many defenders were there, how many offensive plays, and just slipped a lovely kick behind. And if it had been a yard less hard, Steve-O, it'd have been a try. Yep.
Steve, I think Stacey Jones keeps answering your question about last year. They led every tri-series game at half-time and wilted last year. The difference keeps coming back to that man, Stacey Jones. He didn't play last year.
Gasnier, they missed the tackle on him at their peril, but they are there in numbers. And Rahi dumps him on the deck.
Well, Australia will gamble. They won't just shut up shop. Oh, well, they will now.
Willie Mason drops the ball. It's swooped on by David Kidwell. They have a minute, and they have a full set of 6 to get another try just before half-time, New Zealand.
Or even a 1 point.
Yeah, that's a good call, Steve, as well. You know, they might have a shot for 4 or 5 tackles, and if nothing else is on, slip that ball between the H's.
It's Brent Webb, and he goes wide to Stacey Jones. Back inside it comes to the substitute, Fauimu. And he is just enveloped by the tackle of Craig Wing and Craig Fitzgibbon. And now it's with the fullback Webb again. Over the top it goes. Oh, they went for the interception. They come up with it in the end. And it is Brent Tate. Well, they just went wide. They were looking really for the 4 points out wide then. Here is Fitzgibbon. 10 seconds to the half-time siren. Gasnier at dummy half. This is Gower. Whoa, what a hit, and Gower's flat out. There's the half-time siren. Vangenaar it was. Vangenaar took Craig Gower then, and he's not happy with it. Craig Gower having it chirruped in the ear of 1 or 2 players.
Without a doubt, and their forwards have got to get up the tempo. Kiwis, of course, they'll be playing very basic rugby league football, and that's what they did most throughout that first half. We keep mentioning the kicking game from Stacey Jones, and that's all they have to do. And they'll be forcing the error yet again. Australia coughed up so much possession in that first half. It was ridiculous.
This is Stephen Price for Australia. Second tackle, opening set of 6 of this second half. And Willie Mason will drive the ball forward. A try-scoring substitute in last year's Tri-Nations final. This, meanwhile, is Craig Wing. And he has, of course, answered the call from his holiday in Hawaii to play in this tournament once Darren Lockyer was injured. The kick, though, is not the best. It's straight down the throat of Brent Webb, and here come New Zealand again. Ben Kennedy leading the charge. Mason finishing him off. And the winger, Jake Webster, Test debut against Australia in Sydney. 6 tries in 6 tests for him so far. Not on the score sheet tonight.
Well, I think Brian McClennan can have 10 out of 10 for the first half, Eddie, but it'll be interesting this half to see how he uses Solomon and Lautiti as well to keep the momentum going.
Well, they are keeping the momentum going. Everything, as I say, all their offloads, all the balls that go to ground, all the balls that bounce in front of players, it finds its way into New Zealand arms. And here is Stacey Jones again, and there's the script. It's a well-read script, this. It's a well-worn script. And this time they hang off, and the ball is knocked forward by the New Zealand winger Webster. It's very basic, but it's very effective so far.
With a 16-0 lead, that's all you need to do. If they can starve Australia of field position, it'll be the clock that'll be against the green and golds.
This is Craig Wing and Willie Mason.
Great defence, isn't it? We spoke about the team spirit that this young coach Brian McClennan has brought to the black and whites, and they really are working hard for each other. The one thing that Wayne Bennett, he doesn't panic. That's the one thing about the Australian coach, and I think he would have said to them that we have got to get back into some sort of pattern.
Craig Gower's gone for a 40-20 here, but Brent Webb gets it, just palms it back a little bit towards his own line, sets off on the run, almost gets away from Fitzgibbon, can't get away from Gower though. And this is Clinton Tupy. Will come down this left-hand channel again. Stopped by Brent Tate. And this is Anderson.
I think they'll play this one out football, New Zealand, every time they're in their own half.
Kidwell.
It's only when they get anywhere a sniff of the Australian line will they become a little bit more confident. Try something different.
That's a penalty to Australia this time.
Space, I've told you about it. You're going forward off the mark.
And moving off the mark is the referee Steve Ganson's version of events here.
Travelling off the mark.
Well, I think he's been hard done by that.
He's moving off the mark, mate.
For what we've seen in that first half go on in and around the ruck area. Not that the Aussies will be complaining.
Well, the third penalty they've received from Mr. Ganson, and the first time that they have had such proximity to the New Zealand line in this second half.
Well, this is the area where you normally see Minicello.
Ball lost, and Stacey Jones gets it to Shontaine Harpy, and this is David Kidwell. Well, they look completely out of sorts, Australia. I know New Zealand are playing so well, but they look completely out of sorts. But was that dragged back by Rahi?
Well, it certainly looked that way.
Well, it was a smart play. It was one-on-one, and I think he just played at the arm, and that forced the header. So Stacey Jones certainly didn't ask any questions, did he?
No, didn't wait for any inquest, did he? As Asatazi drives it forward again for New Zealand. Inside Australian territory now with Fayumu.
And again, the first and second markers in the Australian side, very poor, hesitant.
And Rahihi hasn't heard the call. That's going to be the turnover. They haven't heard the call there.
Oh, he's mad with himself as well, but not as mad as Stacey Jones will be. He was getting himself in a position. This is the incident where they coughed up the ball yet again, Australia.
Definitely one-on-one, but I just wonder whether the ball from Rahihi went forward.
Second hold.
Anyway, it's all academic now. Here are Australia with Gower. He finds Fitzgibbon.
We haven't seen much spark from the two halves either, and that indicates that the forwards aren't doing their shift work. They've got to get in. That's better.
Willie Mason driving Australia forward on tackle number 4. Craig Wing waits dummy half. They're 25 metres away from the line. Barrett with a little dab over the top looking for Gower. Oh, the ball has bounced off and can't get it out. Offside. Offside against... Oh, the referee is actually asking the video referee to check whether it was a try.
That's a knock on to start with.
Knock on, and then Louis Anderson, I think, picked the ball up in an offside position. But has Trent Barrett scored is what the referee is asking here.
It's a neat little chip over, isn't it? Gower was there, picks it up well. I think it's short. Yeah, short. The ball's gone on. That's play on. There'll be no try. It'll be interesting to see how they restart this game.
Maybe it's a knock-on against Barrett, is it?
He did well, very well, but he's short of the line. Now, was it deliberately knocked down by Webb? That's the interesting thing
Well,
here.
for me, Steve O, they'll start it with New Zealand head and feet. Barrett's knocked the ball forward, trying to score a try. Webb, as rightly, is defending his own line, hasn't played at the ball. I think he's knocked it on. You see, look at Webb where he's looking. All he's doing is defend his own line. That's a knock-on by Barrett.
I have to agree with you, John. This will be head and feed to the Kiwis.
Scrum defence, and New Zealand are the defence.
And another chance has gone begging. Not that Australia have had many throughout this game.
They've had very few. Louis Anderson did pick the ball up in an offside position, but the knock-on by Trent Barrett nullified all of that.
Hold the push.
So it's a scrum down with head and feed to Stacey Jones of New Zealand. And he gets the ball away to the fullback, Brent Webb.
You're all up early,
And the referee now gives a penalty for offside to New Zealand. Stacey Jones finds touch over on the far side. It stays at 16-0. Let's go down to the sideline. Chris Warren with news from the Australian dressing room. Chris.
Well, Eddie, I imagine Coach Wayne Bennett would be very disappointed with the way they have started the second half. There was one loud, clear message given to the Kangaroos at half-time, and that was hold the ball. You can't win a game without possession. And they've had two good attacking sets, and they've failed to complete both of them. So, I mean, if you look at the pre-match warm-up, it was like a finely tuned military exercise with precision, great execution, but sadly, as the game kicked off, that all abandoned them.
Nigel Vangenaar was looking for a penalty then, not coming. It's with Stacey Jones. And Webb almost through again. Plays the ball on the last. That was Louis Anderson. This is Stacey Jones again. Chip kick down the line. And finds Vatuvai, who tops it inside to Tupi. And the ball wide. And it's a good job that Matt Cooper was there to defuse that kick across the face of play. Let's go down to honorary Kiwi Bill Arthur. He's with the New Zealand dressing room.
And it's a very satisfied Kiwi dressing room, but one that knows there's a lot of work to be done in this second half. And the message from coach Brian McClennan was discipline and completing the sets of 6, which is exactly what they did in the first half, and which has been a hallmark of this Kiwi effort in the Tri-Nations. They have been a lot more disciplined and cut out a lot of the errors that have proved so costly to them previously. Interestingly, David Solomona ready to enter the fray for the first time for New Zealand and could have a big impact.
So could Craig Wing. He was hunted down, but there is the Wakefield Trinity Wildcat, David Solomona, prowling the line, waiting to come in. And the kick over the top is looking for the Speetzers out wide for Australia. Gasnier is there. So to Minicello, and they effect the tackle 5 metres away from the New Zealand line. Stacey Jones scurries in at dummy half.
Much better play by Australia there, brought about by the run from dummy half from Craig Wing. They certainly need something to spark them. Well, this is going to be a battle royal.
Interestingly enough, that Ruben Wiki has returned as well. And the New Zealanders, as I'm reminded, have survived, of course, with a 0 against the Australian name on the scoreboard. They survived without him. There he is. Back to inspire his men to a famous victory, perhaps. And Stacey Jones on the last tackle just hoiks the ball downfield. Back come the Kangaroos, but only as far as Shantaine Harpy, and he got a very good tackling on Matt King. And look at the weight as well from the New Zealanders, forcing him back towards his own line. Here is Minicello.
That's been one of the features, I think, by the New Zealand side. They've worked as a unit, gang tackles, that's play on. He's involved in the tackle.
He wipes the tackle count clean, does Steve Ganson. That was deemed to be a play at the ball by Fayumu.
0.
Willie Mason bumps off one, can't get away from the next man in. They're always there in numbers, and they have the penalty, Australia.
You're offside, mate. Wait, Trent. You're offside, mate.
Offside is Mr. Ganson's version.
Really good tactics, hasn't it, by Brian McClennan, the Kiwi coach, just make sure that, you know, 2 or 3 get to him, and then make sure he can't play the ball quickly.
Marco Mealy. Tupi stands his ground.
Australia need a break.
Wing to Gower. Barrett showed it to Kennedy. Oh, and it's lost again. They've lost again.
Too smart. He was never on. It was a beautiful tackle low down. Kennedy, we know his ability to offload. Just wasn't there. Just couldn't get enough strength.
And here is David Solomona for New Zealand. Well, I tell you what, if Wayne Bennett's instruction to his team was hold on to the football, they have failed to respond to those words in this second half. And now New Zealand have another penalty.
Well, the referee certainly is making this a stop-start affair in this second stanza.
And that will be music to New Zealand's ears.
Of course it will. Just basic.
But look at the error count from Australia, 12.
You can't win a game.
And New Zealand just 3. They're not making any errors. And here they are with Ruben Wiki. Could be a famous night for Ruben Wiki on his 50th Test appearance. And Stacey Jones. And Stacey Jones, great ball. And that is Fatuira. And it's all hands to the pumps now for Australia as Fayumu spreads the ball wide. Kidwell, Vanganar. Oh, and Vanganar escapes the net nearly. 3 tackles gone, 3 remaining for New Zealand here as Fayumu finds Stacey Jones. It comes back, and this is Brent Webb, and Webb is in again. Webb is in for New Zealand, and it could be game, set and match. It could so easily be game, set and match if this is given by the video referee.
And I can't see any reason why it won't be. Excellent stuff. We knew what the tactics would be, that they would just drive in one out and only put something on where they could smell the line.
They're looking for obstruction against Trent Barrett here.
Well, Barrett was certainly battled out of it. No doubt about it. It was Anderson that went for him. Is he deemed to have stopped him an opportunity? I think he might have. The Australians may be very fortunate indeed. Nothing wrong with the grounding.
Well, they're not interested in the grounding, just the obstruction. So here's the decision.
I think there'll be no try.
It's a try to New Zealand. And it's 20 points to 0 to the Kiwis with a kick to come. And Brent Webb has scored his 6th try of his international career. And the Australian supporters and players are stunned.
Well, it's amazing and fully deserved because it's all basic, isn't it? They have not come up with the errors, the black and white. It appeared to me as though there was interference by Anderson on the standoff, Trent Barrett. The video referee, Dave Campbell, said no. He's been the star of the show, this fellow, the fullback, Brent Webb. But what about this guy? What a character. Jet lag? What jet lag?
Another 2 points to New Zealand. It's 22 points to 0 now. And Ian, if Australia are to come back from this, it will be one of the all-time great comebacks.
Well, we hear every sport, we hear cliches. It's a game of 2 halves. We committed too many errors. We didn't hold the ball. You go for them all. Australia have committed them all. They can't hold the ball at the moment. They can't build pressure. All they need at the moment is some back-to-back sets to apply some pressure and some momentum and rhythm, and they can't achieve it.
The trouble is, though, Ian, is that the New Zealand pack are just taking the Australian 6 apart.
Well, they're giving them a lesson on how to take the ball forward to build a platform for a kicking game and before you shift the ball. They've got some great go forward. They've got a little bit more subtlety around the rucks area with some options. At the moment, unfortunately, they're very much one out, Australia. And what they are, they're very keen to shift the ball to get out of problem. At the moment, the forwards, as you say, Steve, are completely dominated.
And things getting worse for Australia. We're hearing news of injuries in the Australian camp, Chris.
Yeah, that's right, Eddie. Brent Tate's limped off the field. He's carrying what looks to be a knee or right ankle injury. I don't think we're going to see him return, so they are reduced to 16 players with just one back or utility on the bench. It could present some problems.
New Zealand in possession with Stacey Jones, and the kick is a good one because it finds its way. Oh, and he was nearly over there, Anthony Minichiello. That was quick thinking by him. He knew he was in a little bit of space and he just flicked the ball back.
That could change the game. Just little things like that, and he's got the offload as well. That could just spin it around. Remember, in the first half, it was the interception by Anderson that turned it for the Kiwis, and that could be just what the doctor ordered. They need something. I don't know what medicine that Wayne Bennett can mete out to his players, but they've got to start swallowing it soon. Great stuff.
Minicello, well, he's living up to his tag as the best in the world in a team that's very much on the back foot at the moment. This is Stephen Price. Missed Great Britain last week up against several of his New Zealand Warriors colleagues, of course. Here tonight, this is Luke O'Donnell.
And even when they're in possession, the Australian forwards, they don't appear to have any venom.
Gower will hoist the ball high. Trying to do what his opposite number has done. That's not forward, though. I think the referee has given a penalty here to Australia for a tackle on an airborne player.
You took him when he's in the air.
Well, that's what the signal has done, and he's got it absolutely right. Well, the good work by Minicello, and then the penalty to the tap.
This is Jason Riles for Australia, and you get the feeling that they must score here, Australia, to have any chance at all. Gower gets the ball away. This is Fitzgibbon.
Second.
And Shantaine Harpy was the tackler, helped out by Vanganar. Again, they look at Mr. Ganson. Mealy goes without the ball. It is not
Simple.
Australia's.
No advantage to the Kiwis, so the official Ganson will put the scrum down.
How clever there as well by the Kiwi. You see the error here from O'Mealy, but there's no real play there to take advantage. He's saying, we'll have the scrum. That's another 30 seconds to a minute gone as well. So everything going New Zealand's way at the minute. Look at that error count, 13-3.
But that was a sally.
Oh, certainly was.
You've got to take that.
How many times, Steve, one off the ruck have the Australians dropped it tonight? It's like a different team to what we watched last week.
Yep.
Have it right.
It would be. From a British point of view, it would be. But it's 20 years, by the way, since Australia, and we're starting to look now at these sort of records, 20 years since Australia were last nilled in a test match. 1985. And it was against New Zealand, 18-0 in Auckland. Louis Anderson, another good run, doing what the Australian forwards have not been able to do so far tonight. Here is Asotazi.
I must say, it will be a tremendous boost if the Kiwis can hang on, lift the trophy. Fantastic for rugby league in their country.
Ruben Wiki, yes, fabulous. All Blacks, of course, dominating the other code, New Zealand.
And they've just had it on the sideline. They've got Ali Lautiti to introduce him to the game. Very, very fresh indeed.
Oh, Stacey Jones. Well, it was a bit hospital pass. He was committed. Bit of a slap of the hand. Either way, it was a high shot. Didn't clench it, but boy, that a big red cross on it, didn't it, on the inside pass, Stacey Jones.
And Brian McClennan says, let's take 2 points, because we enter the last quarter 24-0 up. That is an almost insurmountable lead.
And the clock is ticking away.
Indeedy.
Well, New Zealand can't look at the clock, what they've got to look at, what they've got to do to win. And I think the viewers have probably heard us talk 100 times about Stacey Jones' kicking game. What he probably needs to do is change it now and run the ball into touch to slow the game down, because at the moment the Australians want to try and get the tempo up and the Kiwis want to slow it. So you'll find Stacey Jones now get that brain thinking, one of the best in the game, run the ball in the touch, walk, take their time and start admiring, because don't forget in the Tri Series last year, Steve-O did not win a game.
Yep. And fair credit to their coach, Brian McClennan. He really has brought them together. They're a very, very strong unit, close-knit.
Coming into this match, Australia finishing top of the table with 3 wins, New Zealand second with 2. 19 tries scored by the Aussies, 21 tries scored by New Zealand prior to tonight. Top scorers in the competition, and top scorers on the night. Stacey Jones makes it 24-0. History beckons the Kiwis. Darren Lockyer, I wonder what he'll be thinking now, going back to last year. What will he be thinking? Brian McClennan. And they don't look that bothered. And they are getting probably their messages back home to the folks down under. 24-0. New Zealand lead. Lauatiti is on. Man mountain for the Leeds Rhinos, of course. He's taken a bit of stick, apparently, amongst Kiwi commentators for his performances in the Tri-Nations. This fella's been majestic. Ruben Wiki.
He's led by example. It's rather sad, 24-0 as you look at it. Perhaps a lot of people will say, especially the media, that, you know, Australia just didn't play up to scratch. You can't say that tonight because the amount of pressure, okay, there's been a couple of easy ones taken down, but the way that the New Zealand side has got into the Australians' faces, and the Aussies don't like it.
Well, you're right. They have been right in their faces from the first minute. New Zealand fully deserve this 24-0 scoreline they've got alongside them, but gentlemen, Australia are dreadful tonight. Let's be fair.
Yeah, but all the little things, Eddie, you need to build up a platform in attack and defence. New Zealand have carried them out to the letter. Australia haven't. They've been very, very naive and everything. I've just got to put a point there on Ruben Wiki. I spoke to him the other day and I said to him, enjoying it? And he said, oh, loving it. And I said, is this your last tour? He said, gee, I hope I get picked next year for the Tri-Series. So it just goes to show they're heroes to people in rugby league, but at the end of the day, they just love playing the game.
They do. And he's played 50 times for his country now. Here's Sivanasiva for Australia, getting them to halfway, but it's on tackle number 4.
And it also just indicates to you the importance of, you know, the players playing with the pride and playing for the country.
Chance wide here for the winger, but no, great defence again. And there was nowhere for Matt King to go then other than over the touchline, because the New Zealanders slid across and saw to that, and it was Jake Webster.
New Zealand head and feet.
Great stuff.
Form up, boy. Danny.
It really has been a pleasure to watch.
You're a big gas, mate. You need gun sorted.
They'll be thinking that way down in Australia, but I'm sure that in New Zealand they are just cock-a-hoop with the way that they have played.
I think that's been the big thing about New Zealand, Steve, is the fact if somebody has made an error, which you're bound to do over 80 minutes of rugby league, what his mates have done is covered for him. And they've all worked and worked and worked so hard for each other. You can feel the camaraderie, the spirit within the squad, and it looks as if it's going to carry them through.
It does at this stage. Our colleagues Sky TV in New Zealand did consider at one stage, Steve-O, sending over their own commentary team for this Tri-Nations final. They decided against it, and they're taking us instead. Trust you're enjoying our commentary and enjoying what you're seeing here. Not necessarily the fact that there's a man having his head bandaged, but the fact that there are so many glum Australian faces at the moment.
Never had a look in. They've been battered and bruised. The Mexican wave is underway.
The last year the British fans were doing it because they had nothing else to do, because we were getting hammered. And tonight all the neutrals are involved, but I don't think Wayne Bennett will be standing up off his chair.
Well, I think they might just call it a moving haka.
Okay. Time back on.
So these players talk a lot about this carver they drink, Steve-O. Have you ever tasted and what's in it? Because Afika Palestina is supposed to be a training with Wigan on 7:30 on Monday morning. I was going to wonder if he's in a fit state.
They will party long into the night if they win this. There's no question of that. Even though Palestina is not involved in the match itself, you can bet your life he'll be involved in the party.
Well, I have tried that, Carver, and I don't recommend it.
Take it off him. Take it off him.
Nigel Vangenaar is hurt, and the referee wants the ball taken off him. And they say they can't get it off him because
his ankle. All right, mate.
He's hanging on for dear life.
True, mate.
He knows that there's a few seconds. Okay, this clock has been stopped, but they will be enjoying this, the Kiwis. Not even the great Australian sides
Nigel,
of
can you play the ball in a minute
yesteryear can pull this back. That I have no doubt. Just went down awkward.
He did. His ankle got stuck underneath Petro Sivanasiva.
Yeah, and then he got rolled over it again. Got the double dose.
No problems in the tackle, Dave. What, mate?
So the referee just giving them time to get Mr. Vangenaar back on his feet, but I don't think
the most important thing,
well.
One of the most important things about this game as well.
I think that's him finished. That's him finished for this game. It was.
Yeah, it went over very badly. But I just like the way that the New Zealanders have been able to just disrupt anything that the Australians have done. Oh. They've never been able to get any momentum. You often talk about getting the roll on and how it's hard to stop. The Aussies haven't even started.
No, they've been tremendous of the New Zealanders, and all credit to them. But it's a sad sight to see that Nigel Vangenaar there is his Tri-Nations final. He's finishing with that, but he won't want the stretcher, will he?
No, he's going to be taken off the field by the training staff. And we see Vangenaar leave the field. Thoughts to Paul Deacon, of course, of the Bradford Bulls in Great Britain, who has dealt with the injury he received in the match against the Kiwis a few weeks ago in exemplary fashion. He took all the heat out of the situation with Nigel Vangenaar, issued a statement. And let's hope that Paul Deacon is back in Bradford's colours for the World Club Challenge against the West Tigers, which will start the season off. Well, Solomona with the offload, and it's gobbled up by Petro Sivanasiva.
I can't believe that he wanted to do that. McClennan will get the message out straight away. Oh, what a hit!
Wiki on Craig Gower.
But the New Zealand coach got to get in and say, listen, fellas, this is not the time to start being fancy. This is the time to just slow it down, play the basics that we've got there. And what a rise to prominence by that fella. Had you ever heard of Brian McClennan? I hadn't.
Heard of Mike McClennan, of course. The man who gave us the great phrase, retention of the football is paramount. And they have held on to the football, haven't they, New Zealand?
Well, I'm going to say, if the Australians had heard him, they'd have done well to take some notice.
This is Trent Barrett for Australia. I think they are looking, actually, to just get a little bit of respectability back into the situation here. Luke O'Donnell, and the kick was from Riles. It's fielded by Webster. And there was no real chase for the kick from the prop forward.
Well, it's sheer panic. There's been no cohesion.
Shontaine Hartley, he's maybe playing himself into a new position with the balls at loose forward.
He's worked hard.
It's been interesting, though, how Coach McClennan has used Harper, because he's switched with Fatueiras. At times, Fatueiras dipped into the middle and Harper's going into the centre. And it's a tactic that's worked very, very well indeed.
No wonder they didn't want to announce their side until just an hour before the kick-off. This is Solomona again.
And you could see on that occasion there was never going to be any chance that he was looking to offload.
This is Matutoni.
He's played really well. I thought that might be a weak link, you know, in the New Zealand side, having to push him in, not having a regular hooker, but he really has come of age. It's been a wonderful performance from him.
Another great kick from Stacey Jones, making Gasnier field the ball right down by his own try line, and here is Matt King, and there is just no way through this defence.
And it's been good defence as well with the Kiwis, is that they haven't been eager to get the man with the ball to the ground. They've kept him up, and 3 and 4 people have kept him moving.
Cooper is picked up and dumped centre field. Gow wide to Craig Wing. Wing gets Australia over halfway, but can get them no further. Tackle number 4, Gower the dummy half. Trent Barrett, and this is Stephen Price.
Oh, it's another mistake. Oh, they lead that up. Said thank you very much indeed.
0, Steve Price. Okay, mate.
And it's at the stage where I think everybody in this stadium and all the people at home that are connected to the green and golds, I think they're going to say that's it. And I have to agree with them, because New Zealand will just trundle it up, give it back to that man with a 7 on his back, Stacey Jones, and just irritate them.
David Fayumu, and Shontaine Harpy drives it forward again. Fayumu once more, they're 20 metres away. There is Stacey Jones, it goes wide to David Solomona. Solomona this time doesn't think of the offload. There's the ball here to Fatueira.
5 on the line.
And they are so close to the line again. Solomona, back he comes to Stacey Jones, and a drop goal from Stacey Jones.
No.
Miss.
20.
And it's the right thing to do as well. Just drive another nail in. Trouble is, it didn't get into the wood correctly.
No progress forward though by Australia.
Go.
The way they played last week against Great Britain, the way they cut Great Britain to pieces from deep. Men like Gasnier, who just played the ball there. Stephen Price wasn't available, of course, or didn't play last week. That's an offside decision against New Zealand. And Bill has got some news from the New Zealand camp. Bill?
We saw Nigel Vangana going off, and it is an ankle injury. Right ankle is the problem. He's going to need an X-ray, and it could be an uncomfortable journey home tomorrow evening for the Kiwi. But if they come through this and take the trophy, it'll be a lot more pleasant. There is some Australian injury news as well. Here's Chris Warren.
Yeah, well, they've lost Tate already, and Fitzgibbon, it looks like he won't return as well. It looks like a left knee injury, so they are down to 15, the Kangaroos.
Just 15 men for Australia to see this match out. Here they come, though, and off the shoulder of Jason Riles. Another knock on.
I can't believe that the Australians have persisted with this flat attack continually and just coughing the ball up.
New Zealand
If it's not working, and I am surprised that Wayne Bennett has not changed some form of tactic.
Shortcut, lads. Shortcut touches.
Completely outclassed. I never thought
Shortcut.
I would see the day when I could say that about an Australian outfit that has been just not at the races. They've been battered, they've been bruised, they've been outthought, and they've been outcoached.
Well, I've got to say also there, Steve-O, is they've been so consistent in their defence, New Zealand. I've never seen a New Zealand international team be so consistent. And it always comes from your desire on a kick chase in your first 3 rucks. They've been honest, they've been together, and they've been very aggressive. And I've never seen Australian team. If you look at average metres, probably for Australia, their first 3 or 4 rucks, it's very poor. And that's where they've dominated the game.
This is Ali Lauatiti.
Again, just basic rugby league football. It may not be pretty, but who cares if you're a Kiwi?
And the British crowd's asking the Australians, who are you? And he gets a penalty, Solomona. There's been a lot of that. I mean, Matt Cooper having a right go there, Mr. Ganson. There's been a lot of that tonight. Every decision that's gone against them, they've contested.
I know, and that's frustration.
Well, that's symptomatic of the night they're having.
Yeah, of course it is.
But it started a lot earlier than 24-0.
You can't take it away from them. If the guy was, you can see there, he was lifting the leg up as he was regaining to the ground. The official has got no option.
This is Ruben Wiki. Here is Lauatiti. Lauatiti offloads again. And Shontaine Harpy feeding off him.
They've not finished the Kiwis, but they say it's plodding when they're in their own half.
Motu Tony! And he's just forced back over the whitewash this way. Fayumu has scampered in at dummy half. He'll bullet the pass to Jones, who'll find Webb, the fullback. And here is Fatuira. And the ball went forward. The ball went forward. Jake Webster's try is rubbed out.
Forward, mate.
Good hands, though. Very good hands. Ooh, well, I'm not so sure. Maybe on that angle, but...
Well, that's why the TV cameras cannot be judged on a forward pass.
What about the momentum rule, though, Eddie?
Watch his hands. That's the secret. His hands are going backwards.
I think that should have been allowed.
I agree with you. I think that was a great piece of skill and a great finish. And it'd been a fitting way to round off this Tri-Nation finals. Just watch his hands. That's the secret between whether a pass is forward or not. And his hands went in a backward direction. That should have been allowed.
Webster had overrun it as well, which didn't help Mr. Ganson. He did have to reach back, but he had overrun the pass. Anyway, it's no try. It's 24-0, and we've got 10 minutes or so remaining.
Hold.
An historic night for New Zealand Rugby League. They would have watched their cousins, the All Blacks, sweep through this country, and they will want the headlines themselves in the morning.
And they deserve them as well. But there, the tackle before was an example of what I've been trying to say, in as much that they just keep the ball carrier, they hold him up, second man comes in, third man comes in. They've just battered them.
Any respectability for Australia. That ball went backwards. It was actually touched, I think, by a New Zealander, and the referee agrees. This is O'Mealy. It's back to 0 in the tackle count. It's tackle number 1. Badeiras, an Australian captain who's going to go home beaten in a major final. Haven't had one of those for years and years and years. What a pity it's not the red, white and blue of Great Britain from a purely xenophobic point of view. Here is Gasnier. He is spun to the ground by the tackle from Lauatiti. Craig Wing, good on his feet. Gets the ball away to O'Donnell. Manu Vatavai with the tackle. And play on. Badiras tried to get the ball through his legs. He did, but it hit the New Zealander. And Vatavai got the possession back for his country.
Well, 2 tries by the winger Vatavai, but he does get to a lot of work in defence. Say things certainly not coming off the writing. Has been on the wall for quite some time.
And here comes the half break. In fact, it's more than a half break, and it's Asatazi, and he skipped through another challenge, and he's still not finished. And that's good play from Badiras. Came over the top and dislodged the ball. O'Mealy gets it out wide, but it was dangerous. Fatuira all over the top of Matt Cooper.
Here they come. Swarm all over them again. They must have worked really, really hard on their defensive line. I know that Brian McClennan, their coach, was bitterly disappointed with their performance against Great Britain.
Here's Matt Cooper, brilliantly kept alive by Willie Mason.
Third, Paul Ruben.
Well, they have been in this country as rank underdogs, the New Zealanders. The accommodation wasn't even booked for them for this final, and they've used that to their advantage.
They certainly
really have.
But there's another, you know, the flat pass, not the best from Gower. Barrett had to hang back for it.
Okay, mate, just
well, we've never seen this, Steve-O. In all the years that we have been involved with international rugby league, we have never seen a performance like this from Australia. Credit to New Zealand, they have forced the errors.
To be fair, I've never seen a better performance by the New Zealand side either.
Okay.
They have been wonderful.
And
there was about 15 minutes in that first half, midway through the first half, when it looked as though New Zealand was shaky. Australia were getting over the advantage line. It looks as though they're going to get it, but then that intercept from Anderson turned it all around, and they've just controlled the game ever since.
Well, their consistency's been outstanding. I know the Sky cameras have picked up Darren Lockyer a few times, but if you look at people who are some of the best players in the game, Sonny Bill Williams, Benji Marshall and Leslie Vonacolo, they're not out here today. I think Brian McClennan, if you keep going back, I think an hour and a half before kick-off, I said, what's the team? He said, oh, they got a surprise, they reckon. Shantine Harpy, we wouldn't have picked him there, would we? He's been an absolute marvel there. And Vatawara on Cooper has been outstanding. He's done a very good job here tonight, Brian McClennan.
This is Ali Lauatiti. The ball is fed wide to Manu Vatavai. Here he goes again. The offload back to Clinton Tupi. And they're just hanging off, aren't they? Australia, they are not. And they haven't closed them down in the tackle from the very first whistle. Motu Tony and Asatazi. And here is Lauatiti. And Lauatiti offloads to Tony. And Tony slides the kick through, and Trent Barrett diffuses the danger for Australia.
Surrender!
Allows that for confidence, just keeping the ball alive, spinning around. You can see that most of the Australians were just hanging around, waiting to see what's going to happen.
Second, hold, go.
Boy, there'll be some battered bodies on this Australian team after this game. It's been a wonderful effort defensively, hasn't it, by the Kiwis?
Great ball from Gower to Kennedy, and the offload. This time it sticks to Minicello, and Minicello over the top to Matt Cooper. And Cooper is pulled down by Jake Webster. They don't want to concede a try, do they? Here's Gower. And again they force him out. And they hold him up short of the line. That's the last tackle. Danny Badiras waits at dummy half. Gives it to Kennedy, and Kennedy goes without it. And that is typical of Australia's night. Yet another error.
I can't believe what I'm seeing, because remember at Wigan, when they took on Great Britain, within 3 of the last minutes of that game, in atrocious weather, they were flipping the ball back, running the angle, scored sensational 2 tries, and here, perfect conditions, no excuses.
19 errors.
2005 will go down the year that England has not been a good country for Australian sport. We look at the cricket, we look at Costa Zoo in boxing, now we look at rugby league. Not a good year, and it gives everyone hope next year for the Tri-Series, especially those England players sitting back in their living room saying, I want to be on that boat.
I think as well that last passage of play summed up the game perfectly. The New Zealand spirit to scramble back in defence, and then the pressure they exerted on the Australians to come up with the error.
Brian McClennan is celebrating because we're 4 minutes away. Not even Australia can score 4, 5, 6 tries. Not with defence like that. They're in touch again. That's been the story of the night.
Yep. Keep the man up in possession. Keep him up off the ground. Swarming defence. And congratulations to that fellow and all concerned.
Well, they came here 12 months ago and they never won a match. And Wayne Bennett will be the first to congratulate Brian McClennan, because he says, and he has said philosophically a number of times in the recent past, look, we cannot win them all. It'll have to happen sometime, and it's happened tonight. It's over 50 years since New Zealand beat Australia in a test series, and they're going to go home with a glittering silver trophy as well. The Tri-Nations prize is going to New Zealand with the Kiwis, and they're still not finished. This is the fullback, Brent Webb.
He's been the man of the series for me.
Oh.
Brent Webb has been absolutely superb, and look at the enthusiasm. It is wonderful. The Mad Butcher there, Peter Leach coming to interview, and I do know that they were absolutely furious about the fact that they didn't get hotel accommodation because they thought it was going to be a Great Britain-Australian final. Boy, when they lift that trophy in a few moments' time, it will taste very sweet indeed.
Minicello somehow picked up the pieces then.
Hold there. Hold. Not out.
They nearly dropped the ball again then on the first tackle. This is Gower. And this is Willie Mason.
Second on the line.
Australia looking to make sure they are not nilled in an international for the first time in 20 years. Barrett, Gaznia, escapes one net, escapes two nets. No, he doesn't. Off it goes to Kennedy. Kennedy offloads to O'Donnell. O'Donnell over the top. Here is Craig Wing. Great defence again. And David Kidwell, should be a penalty that, and it is.
It's got to be. Madeira's to take the quick tap, they're away, they've got it out wide.
And this is Gower. This is Craig Gower.
And he's dropped it.
The ball has gone forward and it's no try. Wayne Bennett, a resigned little shrug of the shoulders there, I think.
Well, that was knocked out.
It was also, it went backwards.
I think it was knocked out anyway. Doesn't make any difference.
One apiece, isn't it, here with the New Zealand disallowed one?
Okay.
Brian McClennan. He's come out of nowhere. He coached in the lower grades in New Zealand. Nobody had heard of him. Boy, they've heard of him now.
His head in, please. Get up. Okay, we go.
Well, I do hope that when they fly back, they will receive a hero's welcome, because this has been nothing short of superb.
We're entering the last minute, and New Zealand are ahead by 24 points to 0. What will this do for the international game?
It's wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. And it just shows that the ability, and of course the junior development coming through in New Zealand is starting to bear reward, and I think it's just sensational for it.
But for men like Ruben Wiki and Stacey Jones, legends of the game in New Zealand, it is a fantastic, well, I was going to say end to their international career. Stacey Jones has made more comebacks than Frank Sinatra.
Oh, I think this will be it now.
And, but Ruben Wiki has said, as Ian Millwood said, he wants to be involved in next year's Tri-Nations. So maybe he's not done yet. But it's a great way to celebrate your 50th Test cap, world record, and you're going to be top of the world tonight, New Zealand. This is Barrett over the top to Gower. Play on indeed. And they're counting down, and Brian McClennan is dancing all over Elland Road. And New Zealand have won the Tri-Nation of 2004. And it's no fluke. It is an absolute hammering for the Australians here. They started with the win in Sydney for the first time in 46 years. And they have finished with a win here in the final that is richly, richly deserved. And Wayne Bennett and company go home beaten in a series for the first time since 1972 in the World Cup. It's been a long, long time since Australia have been outplayed at this level, but outplayed they have been.